This lovely plant you see standing in front of you is mullein, common mullein, also known as Verbascum thapsus. It's actually one that the colonialists brought over because it has so many medicinal properties that are valuable. The entire plant is useful. Notice it's really tall, stands at about 7 feet tall at its highest. This one is about 5 feet. And the first year will look like this. No basal, it's just the basal rosette. You don't have this nice column coming up. And then in the second year, this flower stalk happens. What I do is I find these out in places where I don't want them to grow, and I will transport them to the beds that I want them to grow in. And they do really well. For about the first day, they're kind of mopey, and then they spring to life and they do okay, as long as you get them in that first year. That's how you can bring them into your garden. Once you have them in your garden, the seeds will resprout, and you will have mullein. It is not horribly invasive. You can pull it fairly easily in the places you don't want it to be in, but it's so useful that, I would be hesitant to pick it and pull it out of the ground. So let's go ahead and have a look at this plant. First of all, you have the flower stalk. Right now, the flower stalk is what we are harvesting for medicine, because those flowers, they fall off every day into the margins of the leaves, and then you collect them and you put them in some olive oil. Be careful because the flowers usually have bugs in them, so you got to kind of let the bugs crawl out. And then you put them into the oil, and then that oil soaks. And this oil is very great, wonderful remedy for earaches, for infected ears. It has an antiviral and anti-inflammation sort of quality to it. Also, it has the energy of pushing fluid out, having it circulate and come out, so it's expectorant, which is why also the leaves are great. These leaves are very big. They're fuzzy. One of the names of this plant is cowboy toilet paper. Now I gotta tell you, if you look at the surface of this plant, there are all these little hairs. I dare the person who calls it cowboy toilet paper and suggests you to use it on themselves first, because I think it would be not a pleasant experience, and in fact I've heard it can be quite irritating. I'm not going to try it. I'll leave that up to you. However, these leaves have really much more benefit than being used as toilet paper. These leaves have an expectorant quality. They're really great for lung problems. If you have lung congestion, bronchial congestion, these leaves as a tea, as a tincture, or as a smoke offers relief from those issues. So you can actually blend it with, I like it with catnip. It's a really relaxing expectorant smoke blend, and it's very mellow and smooth. Now, some people say the stalk looks like a spine. It's really tall, and it's kind of, these leaves have these crenellations. I think it's a beautiful plant, really. But this stalk, some people might say that it tells you that the plant is useful for the spine. That's called the doctrine of signatures, when a plant has some quality appearance-wise that will let you know a clue of what it might be useful for. I'm not really into the doctrine of signatures, however, it's a good way to remember what this plant might be useful for. So, the root of this plant and the leaves of these plants have an action on the synovial fluid in your body, and they will help to align your spine, and they'll help to reduce inflammation in your joints. So, for example, if you have, a bulging disc, or a little bit of your neck is kind of out of whack, you can drink some mullein tea or take a mullein root tincture, and that will help that bone to kind of relax back into place with that extra lubrication and the anti-inflammatory quality that it has. It also, to some people, can be pain relieving and relaxing. That doesn't happen with everyone, but for some people it can be. Now, the root itself is useful also in bladder problems. So you could use it for alignment in your bones and spine, or anti-inflammatory of your joints, or you can use it for bladder issues. Specifically, it has a tonifying quality to the lower part of your bladder. And if you have incontinence due to, for example, an enlarged prostate gland, this could be a medicinal herb that will help you. You harvest the flowers now. You would harvest the leaves after the flower stalk starts to die back, and you harvest the leaves before they turn yellow. Then you can harvest the root. The root during the last part of the plant's life is going to have the most medicinal quality. So when you see the leaves start to turn yellow, that's when you want to get the root. The second year root is going to be more potent than the first year root. However, this plant will stay green under the snow, and I've often in the middle of the winter ran out, because I use this plant so often. I've run out of it, and I've went and dug under the snow and found it for friends or for myself to use. So mullein, it's not cowboy toilet paper. It is a really great plant, and it's been around a long time. And in fact, the first time I told my mom to have a cup of mullein tea, she let me know that her grandmother used to give her mullein tea when she was a girl. So it's one that we've been using for a long time. Get out there and enjoy it.